Hello. This week I'm going back to my comfort zone a bit, and I'm going to use some scraps to make some small scatter pieces for the battlefield. So there's no pre-plan to this. I'm just going to go with what I feel at the time. So first of all, I want to cut myself some bases. And I think I'll probably do 4 in total on this occasion. The only thing that I'm trying to keep in mind a bit is that I want at least a squad of soldiers to be able to take cover behind it. And that'll do. Right, so let me get them cut out and then I'll bring you back. Right, so I've shaped them, chamfered the edges a bit and just loosely sanded it down as well. So I've got my 4 basic shapes. And what I've decided to go for this time, I mean, there's a multitude of things you could use on these scatter terrains. You could use a felled tree, logs, damaged vehicles, bits of damaged vehicles, shells, whatever. But on this occasion, I want it for a few rocks and things because I've got something in mind for it. Now, normally I use things that I've gathered myself, you know, when I'm walking the dog or something. But on this occasion, because I wanted this quick, I've ordered this bag of bark bits from Geek Gaming. And I have to say, they're nice pieces. I mean, you know, none of it's, you know, falling to pieces or anything. You know, it crumbles after time, but this is all pretty good stuff. And it's, you know, it's ready to roll as well. You know, I haven't got to bake it or anything because it's already been done. So basically, what I'm looking for is some pieces that are going to act as a low-lying rock. So I'm just going to get a few out and then pick what I like. So I like this one. Let's just pan that out a bit so you can see a bit more. This one I'm going to use as my first piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these down with some with a glue gun because I want it to be, you know, fairly instant. So just stick a good splodge on there. I mean, we're going to seal it all in anyway, but alright. I want another piece that will sit alongside that. Right, so I'm going to go with this bit to go with it. So that's my first one. I mean, obviously it's not finished, you know, we're going to do a lot to it to make it bed in a bit more than that, but I'll just want to stick the initial rocks on at the moment, and then we can dress it up a bit more. So that's one. Yeah, that'll be the ones. wispy bits of glue off. So that's the next one. As I say, I mean, you can pick up anything really and turn it over, make it look like rocks, but bark is really effective. Right, now I want even lower bit. It's got its issues, the old glue gun, but it's very good for speeding up little jobs like that. So that's that low line one. Right. Again, I want a low one. Yeah, that looks okay. Turn that off. Right. So I've got that one. Slightly bigger one there. I'm wanting these. What I've got in mind for these, it's been a bit scatterbrain really because I'm jumping from project to project, but I'm looking later on this year, because I'm going to focus more on Normandy now. Inevitably, I'm going to aim towards the D-Day landings or part of it. So what I've got in mind for these is to have them, you know, as you're going off the beach and you know it's starting from sand into like a dead wispy grass. So that's the kind of material I'm looking for. Sorry about Bob barking there, he's heard something banging around. So that's the effect that I'll be going for. Right, so I've mixed up some burnt umber with some Mod Podge, and I'm going to give these a coat all over just so I can ensure, you know, I'm not going to get anything crumbling afterwards. So I just want to make sure I get it completely into all the gaps. Seal it all in. I mean, there's nothing, I suppose, to stop you from using stones and bits of rock to do this. It's just I'm trying to keep everything as light and storage friendly as possible. And bark, you know, really does do a good job of looking like rock. And obviously it's infinitely lighter. and when you've got it, you know, banging about together, it's not going to cause much damage. You could, if you wanted, jump straight to putting some of the, you know, whatever effect you're going to have if you're having grass or stones or whatever. But at the minute, I'm just focusing on making sure that I've got this bark coated well. I don't mind taking an extra stage, but there is no reason why you can't just go straight to adding the, you know, like I say, your sand or your grass right now and start getting it down. But I'm in no rush. Right, and that's the fourth one. So, as I say, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let these dry, and then we'll bring them back and we can start the process of making the rocks look more like rocks. Right, back soon. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start some of the brushing, and I'm going to start with a reasonably heavy dry brush. It's going to seem a bit of a bright colour really, but I'm going to be taking this down with lots of other subsequent dry brushes, but at the moment I just want to focus on getting the coverage that I'm looking for. I don't want it to completely obliterate all the dark brown. I want some of that to show through as well. The one good thing, I'm having gone over it with the Mod Podge that we did in the last, it's made these so much more stable, you know, and it allows you to do this without any fear of damaging the effect of the bark. I mean, obviously, if you're doing anything like this, you can tone it into the battlefield that you want it to sit on. I'm going for more of a sandstony look because that seemed quite common on most of the pictures I've seen of the Normandy beaches, although there were some more granite type ones as well. But obviously, when you're doing yours, you can make it suit to whatever the battlefield suggests. So that's that one. Right, so now we can start introducing a beige colour to it. Alright, so that's what that one's looking like now. You can still see bits of each colour coming through that, which is what I'm aiming for, and there will be another one to go. Let's start this next one. Right, that's that one. So what I'll do now is, you've seen me start these, I'll get these two up to the same stage and then I'll bring you back. And I'm just going to do one more slightly lighter brush. And that's what that one's looking like. So I'm going to do that to the rest. Just give them a slight lighter tone on some of the edges. And then we're ready to move to the next stage. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick on some tufts before I apply the sand. Because obviously I want a beach effect, but I want some of the wisps from the, you know, the hills and the bluffs going away. So unfortunately I haven't got the exact colour that I was looking for, the exact colour I was after really, but I can make do with these. Right, one of these in with that. I'll just put a few more in, and then I'll bring it up for you to have a look at. If you can hear a little bit of mooching around in the background, it's my dogs. They're very restless in here this afternoon. I think they're waiting for... I can't say the word out loud, otherwise I'll get a reaction, but a little W-A-L-K. They're going to have to wait for a minute. Right, so I'll just show you how I'm laying them down at the moment. I could have probably done with a few more beige coloured ones, but I can make these work. I can always give them a bit of a dry brush over as well to blend it down if I need to. But no, they look pretty good. They'll look the part once the sand's on it and everything. Right, I'll crack on with these and get them all up to the same stage, because you don't want to see me just doing the same thing over and over again. And when I've done all the tufts, I'll bring you back. Right, so I've got all these tufted up now. That's one of them. Tried to do a variety of the colours to the back edge of these. I did manage to find some of my string ones that I made myself, so I broke it up with a bit of that on one of them. Oh, and on this one. So what I'm going to do now is, just before I add the sand itself, I've got actually some different sieves of stones from the beach, and so I'm going to do a few of these, and I'm going to put these down initially with a bit of super glue, because I will be going over it with basing glue for the sand. So I'll start with the big ones. And I'll put them underneath the rock. Same on this one. So that's what it's looking like. I'll put a bit of light on that for you. Not too much, because I've got some finer stuff as well, so I want to put that down. That's enough of that one. Just put a little bit more glue down for these, because they are a bit heavier. This is the main sand, and so what I want to do on this, I'll get this out. Just pan it back a little bit. I'm going to brush the glue on because I want to be precise about where it goes. A little bit more around this to the rear on this one as well. I've left a few spaces like this for, you know, sand to have got through and mixed in, more so on some than others. Right. And that's that one. I'll do another one and then I'll get the others finished off camera. I think if anything I would have liked to have had a little bit of a finer sand as well, to blend in with this, but I'm just making do with what I've got. But it's a bit like the tufts, you know, you could make sure that the sand, you know, blends well with whatever battlefield you're trying to recreate. When these have had time to dry, I'd definitely be giving them another coat of watered down PVA just to make sure that everything's fixed. Right, I'll get these other two done and then I'll bring them back for you to have another look at. Right, so they're complete really. The only thing I've got to do is let it dry, and one other thing that I will do is I'll give it a quick blast with some watered down PVA just to seal in the sand completely. But you don't need to see that. For all intents and purposes, this is what they're going to look like when they're complete. Right, so they're complete now, and I'll leave you with some close-ups so you can have a better look at them. Well, on the whole, I'm pretty pleased with them. I think in retrospect, if I'd have had a better selection of tufts and some finer sand, I'd have been a bit happier. But I can always revisit these later on, just put a bit of glue down and sprinkle a bit of finer sand around the outer edges. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found something useful. If you have, please consider giving me a thumbs up, or drop me a comment, or maybe even a suggestion for something else I should build. Failing that, you could always subscribe and click that bell so you hear when the next video drops. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye.